gentleman has expired. The gentleman from Georgia is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Most Americans have grown sick and tired of this do-nothing MAGA Republican House of Representatives, which has failed to pass a single piece of legislation that lowers costs for families or addresses the southern border issue or other important issues. Instead of attacking real issues that matter, House MAGA Republicans fritter away time with rabbit hole investigations of Dr. Fauci and Hunter Biden, while simultaneously spinning webs of lies that seek to create public wrath against anyone who would dare to be involved in any effort to hold convicted felon Donald Trump accountable for his misconduct. The American people can see right through these distraction efforts. Attorney General Garland, thank you for your many years of service to our nation. Among other positions in the federal justice system, you have had an illustrious career as a federal judge, a judge of the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit from 1997 through 2021, including as chief judge from 2013 to 2020. And you also served as chair of the Executive Committee of the Judicial Conference of the United States from 2017 to 2020. So I'm sure that you've had a lot of time to think deeply about the importance of judicial impartiality in a functioning democracy. I and 44 other members of Congress have called for Justices Thomas and Alito to recuse themselves in cases where they cannot be seen as impartial in the case seeking immunity for Donald Trump and others. Justice Thomas's wife played a major role in the Stop the Steal movement that culminated in the January 6th insurrection, and we recently learned that Justice Alito flew flags related to the Stop the Steal movement at both his residential home and his vacation home in 2021 and again in 2023, which directly ties him to the January 6th insurrection, to Donald Trump, and to efforts to overturn the 2020 election. We urged them to recuse themselves from related cases, and Justice Alito last week refused. Then last week, my colleague Jamie Raskin wrote an op-ed arguing that DOJ could petition the other 7 justices to require Justice Alito and Thomas to recuse themselves. That leads me to this question. Is the filing of such a petition with the Supreme Court something that the Department of Justice is considering?
I'm afraid I'm going to have to give you the same answer I've given to other members. The Justice Department can't comment on matters that are before a court, matters you're talking about before the Supreme Court.
I'm talking in terms of an independent petition, not related to any matter pending before the court at this time, but related to those matters.
Justice Department speaks through its filings on matters before the court, and that's all I can say about it.
Well, I'd like for the DOJ to at least consider that possibility. My next question, public reporting has revealed that Supreme Court Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito have accepted gifts of luxury travel and lodging from billionaire benefactors and failed to report those gifts as required under federal financial disclosure laws. The Ethics in Government Act provides the Attorney General authority to investigate and take action against violations of the financial disclosure laws by members of the federal judiciary, even without a referral from the Judicial Conference. What can you tell us about Department of Justice efforts to investigate those high-profile violations by those 2 justices?
I'm afraid I'm going to have to say the same. As I said before, the Justice Department does not comment on whether it investigates or who it investigates or whether it should investigate.
Fair enough,
all
sir.
of our statements are reflected in court papers.
Fair enough. Threats on the judiciary are increasing, and this is frightening to the rule of law. Can you talk about the work that DOJ is doing to address this important issue?
Yes, the threats to the judiciary, threats to prosecutors, threats to law enforcement agents, have all spiked significantly, and in some cases have accelerated from threats to actual violence. We have a threats task force engaged in investigating these matters. We intend to aggressively investigate and prosecute threats against our public officials, including members of Congress, of which the numbers have actually exploded in the past couple of years. Our democracy cannot continue if the people who make the democracy run are afraid, if they make their decisions based on fear of being threatened or of being assaulted. No democracy can survive under those circumstances, and we will do everything we can in our power to investigate, deter, and prosecute anyone who makes threats against public servants.
Time of the gentleman.
Thank you. I yield.